Hey you guys, what is up? Today I am going to bring you two upcycled pieces of furniture. I am going to be doing this awesome grand mirror. It looks amazing afterwards. And then I am going to be showing you an upcycle that I am making for my little office space over here. So I hope you guys enjoy it. Let's get into it. Okay, you guys, here is the piece we are working on. This is our first trash to treasure. This mirror is huge. It was 61 in length and I believe 28 inches wide. I'm going to start by getting some painter's tape and painting all of my lines off so that none of our paint gets on the mirror. I go ahead and do this throughout the entire mirror. I am using a thicker piece because I feel like it'll help me not get paint on the mirror, even though it did happen at some point. This mirror also had like a little lip over the mirror, so I was trying to tuck the painter's tape like under it. And then once I was done, as you can see, I have a razor blade in my hand and I am just going through, and those little pieces that you can see that are on like the piece of wood, I am just going by, I'm razor blading them off. And then if I happen to get a little too much off, then I just get one of my scrap pieces of tape and get a straight edge and then kind of tuck it back underneath so that I do not get paint on the mirror by leaving a little gap on there. So I go ahead and I do this throughout the entire mirror. And you don't have to worry about I feel like cutting the wood or nicking the wood with it, because there's definitely a distinct gap between the frame and the mirror on most pieces of wood or whatever you may be using. So just be cautious, go slowly, and please make sure you know what you're doing if you are playing around with the razor blade. Okay. So here I just saw a gap, so wanted to make sure. And next I'm going in with painting. This is Aged Gray by Rust-Oleum chalk paint. And you guys, at first I grabbed, I don't know, I think it's called like a synthetic brush. One, it was way too large. Two, I don't know why I grabbed this because I never used chalk paint with this brush. But I felt like it was really streaky. It was bulky. So then I did switch over to the chip B brush, which is what I usually use. And that's what I'm using right here. I felt like it gave me so much more coverage. I felt like I could do it faster because the brush itself wasn't like ginormous. So I end up just using that throughout the entire painting process, and gosh, it was so much better. Oh, and let me tell you guys, I feel like I keep saying that. I ended up, after I painted this, I think it was the next day, after I had already done my 2 coats, I went to Home Depot and finally just broke down. You guys, I'm cheap, okay? Finally broke down and bought a chalk paintbrush because those things are expensive. Finally bought one, and now I'm an addict because that thing was bomb. It works so good. They have them too, which I never realized. I think it was because my Walmart hadn't been stocked in a long time. But they're finally stocked, and they had chalk brushes there too. And it was a smaller version, but they were only, I think like the medium size one was $12, and the Home Depot one I got was like 20, I believe. So that is like a life changer, and you'll see me using it when I put on the clear coat of it. And I just feel like it gets in all of the grooves. Here, you guys, is a picture. This is after the first coat. And you could see it's very streaky. Definitely if you were going for a rustic look, you could stop after that and start sanding and doing your thing. I did apply the second coat. I didn't film that. I didn't think you guys wanted to see all that. But I did use the chippy brush again. I didn't have the chalk paint brush yet. And it turned out good. So, you guys, please do not try this at home. Okay, so I tried this because I've seen people do this where it's the water technique. I don't know what it's called. And I first started off with like a wipe. That was way too thin. They were cheapy Walmart wipes. Then I got a rag and a water bucket. And I was dipping and I was rubbing. And I've seen people do this so many times on YouTube, but I either waited too long for the paint to dry, and it was like so tough getting this off. But you guys, I was committed. Let me tell you, I was committed to this process. At the end of this, my pointer finger was so raw and it bubbled up and it calloused. Like, that's how hard I was having to rub. But then, like, halfway through, basically, I was like, well, you're already committed. You can't do something different because then half of your mirror is going to look different than the other half. So, girl, you just need to keep on trucking. I mean, I do like it because I did take out a sandpaper and it left like scuff looking marks on the paint, which I did not want. I wanted this piece. It was grand. It was beautiful. I wanted it to look elegant. I did not want it to look like crazy rustic farmhouse. Like, I wanted this to be able to go into anybody's home with any decor and it look amazing. So it did look good. I just think maybe I needed to try a different process. So after that, I got the shop vac, just trying to get up any of the chippy pieces, any dust that may have fell on there from sitting in the garage. And I'm going to go ahead and clear it now. And I do use the Rust-Oleum matte clear, which I will show you in a minute. Sorry, you guys. I am so tired today. I did use this, what do you call those? You guys, I don't know what that's called. But I did use this because guess what I found? The little chip bristles. So I had to pick them out. And then, of course, they made like little lines that looked weird. So I tried to scuff them out. That's the only thing I hate about chippy brushes is the shedding. So there I go. Found another chip bristle. Sweet. Okay, so this, you guys, I actually just started using this. I had been using polyacrylic on my chalk paint like stuff for a long time, but this is great. It is smooth. It still looks matte. Ooh, and here's my brush. Isn't it beautiful? Ooh, I love it. It looks so good. It looks so good. It works so good. And you guys, after that, I let it dry and look at how beautiful. And you guys, this sold within minutes of me posting it. Like, I'm not kidding. Minutes of posting it. Didn't even put a price on it. All right, now let's go to 2. This, you guys, don't meet Frank. Hank. I did it again. So I got this, this chair and this table from Facebook Marketplace. It only had 3 chairs, so I never used it. So why not turn it into an office chair? So all I'm doing is unscrewing the bottom to get that cushion piece of wood thing off of it. And then, you guys, I love simple green. It gets everything clean. I hate the smell, but it does the job. So I'm just spraying it down because I think they've been in the basement since we've gotten the actual table. Because like I said, we never used the chairs to it. And I'm just spraying this down, and then I do go upstairs and I let this sit for a while. And now I'm just going to wipe it down, and I am going to make sure that I get into those grooves because since it's been a while, there's probably a lot of stuff in there. Could be food, whatever. So I do get in there and thoroughly wipe all of that down so that hopefully the paint doesn't smell. Enough paint. You guys, I will never use this ever again, ever in my entire life. Even if my house is on fire, I will never use that paint ever again. Oh, that is so frustrating. You guys, this is Hank. You guys, we're going to have a Hank moment here because, I mean, look at him. He's so
lay
adorable.
down? No. This is not how this project is going to go. Can you go lay down? Why don't you lay down right over there? Okay? Go lay down.
Isn't he cute? You gotta love him.
Hey, go
frustrated now. But let me tell you.
You're literally standing right in front of the camera. No. I love you too.
Okay. Time with Hank is done. Okay, so you guys, this paint. So I've used this paint on signs before as like a black chalk paint before I found Rust-Oleum chalk paint. And it always worked really well. I've never used it on furniture, didn't even think twice about it. I got my chalk paint brush and I started going at it, and I was like, this is one, it felt like super watery compared to chalk paint. And it says milk paint on it, you guys. So I don't know if I'm doing this wrong or what, but it was so streaky. There was no coverage, nothing like chalk paint, like at all. And for this chair, I wanted basically a matte black. So in my head, I'm envisioning chalk paint, black, matte, chalk paint. So I just keep going at this and I am cringing. I'm like, oh my gosh, you can see everything through this. And it is so streaky, which I did read the can and it did say may need like a few applications. Basically, there'll be like texture or like stroke marks when you're done, which I was like, okay, that's fine. Because when you use a chippy brush with chalk paint, I mean, it kind of does the same thing, right? So I go with it, you guys. I go with it. These grooves were, because the paint kept on settling down, like dripping down. And then I went in with a smaller brush, tried to get them out. You guys, this is after one coat. Look at that. Oh my gosh, I wanted to cry. If this was chalk paint, I probably would have done 2 coats just to be safe. But this was like, ugh. Oh my gosh. I was so sad. Okay, so I'm committed. So I'm like, I'm going to do 2. I'm going to do 2. Even had a conversation with my husband. I'm like, gosh, should I just spray paint this and call it even? And I was like, nope, I'm going to try it. I think it'll get darker, which as you can see, it did get darker, but it was still so streaky. And I should have known better because of those grooves. No matter what I did, the paint was going to settle in them. I feel like even though I was light-handed, it was still going to settle because I was still trying to having to get in there to paint them. So I'm thinking, okay, this could possibly do. No, that's after the second coat, you guys. Look at it. I was so sad. And then I told myself, you know what, maybe you should just do the 3rd coat. Just do the 3rd coat. The paint can said like it could take a few coats, so maybe you should just do the 3rd coat. Guess what? I didn't. I was like, I am not going through that again. I am taking its primer matte black spray paint, and I went to town on it, and yes, it turned out great. Like it right away, I knew this was exactly what I had imagined. It was matte, it was black, it was so full coverage, it covered everything, and it literally dried within like minutes. And then I took my favorite matte clear ultra coverage, or I don't know what it's called, you guys. Sprayed that baby on there, and this was like instant satisfaction because the primer paint literally dried within minutes, and then this clear coat that I spray on dries within like 10 minutes or so. So I was like, oh my gosh, after what I just went through, I needed that. It made my heart pretty happy. I was super excited about it, and it was so much easier. There we go. And then look at the difference. Pure black. Oh, and it's matte. It covered everything. I was able to get inside the little grooves. But as I'll show you right here, look at what the other paint did. Like how I said it was getting in the grooves and settling, and then it was kind of dripping down. You guys, look at that. Okay, you guys, this cushion is so gross. Like I said, it's probably so old. And when I actually took this off, you guys, I'm using, I don't know what kind of pliers these are, but the fabric was super easy to take off because it looked like somebody just got like a regular stapler and just went to town on this little seat cushion thing. But I just go around, take everything off. Like I said, it was really easy to do. I was very surprised. I thought I was going to have to get other, I don't know. So, you guys, I take this off and realize there's still the old, like, cover on there, which I'm like, oh, I'm not going to mess with a good thing. Then I thought I was going to keep this because I figured, well, I can measure this onto my fabric and then I'll already have my piece, you know, like I don't have to get crazy and measure everything out. Well, that didn't happen. Then, you guys, let's get this fabric all ironed up. There were so many creases in it from being in the bag. And I got this at Joann's Fabric, you guys. I believe it was 40% off. And I think it's like I found it under premium cotton or something in their holiday section. All right, so now I am just measuring this out. I have the cushion on top. I'm kind of eyeballing it. I'm making sure that I pull it tightly when I'm like trying to figure out how much fabric I need because I know I'm going to want to pull it tight. And you guys, before you do this, if you have like an odd shaped chair cushion top thing, make sure the print of your fabric is the right way that you want it. Mine, luckily, the eagles were kind of sporadically on there. It's not like it was upside down or anything like that, but I did notice, a few more were kind of faced up then down and things like that. So just make sure the fabric's where you want it to be. And now I'm just using a staple gun. It's my everyday staple gun. Use it for everything, so you don't need anything special for it. And I am just making sure to pull this fabric tight so I don't have any wrinkles in it, so it doesn't like bunch up anywhere. And I'm gonna keep going. See how I keep on like pulling it? I want that. You want it tight, 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 and keep going. And I could maybe put too many staples in it. I don't know, but better safe than sorry, right? See that? Oh, and don't worry about that wrinkle. It goes away. I was really worried about it. I was like, that's going to look so bad. I'm going to have to try and like sit an iron on it or something. But it actually, after like pulling the fabric tight and stuff, it went very well. Now corners, you guys, I did not do anything special with the corners. I just kept trying to play around with the fabric so that it didn't bunch up. Or you know how like sometimes you see reupholstered things and it kind of looks like pleated on the corners. I did not want that on the chair, so I just kept on playing around with the position of the corners, and I think I did a pretty damn good job because I don't feel like I got any pleats on it at all. So I was really excited about that.
After all that, I wasn't even recording that part. But here it is. Let's see if we could get. No, that's not any better. Trying to get. There's like tons. Oops.
Okay, now the last part, just screwing this baby back in, and I am so happy with it. So happy. Like, I love gold. I love America, and it turned out exactly how I imagined it. I was so happy with it. I just wish that I could have gotten a better video of how sparkly it looks and like elegant. I wish I had a ginormous house so I could display all this stuff like upstairs, but I don't. So I just made this for myself for my video space, and you guys, I love it. I'm gonna get you a close-up of this fabric. I think, am I doing it right now? I don't know. No. Yep. All right, you guys. Thank you. Please make sure to hit that thumbs up button and subscribe.